Have you ever felt completely alone, like you're walking through a tunnel, unsure if the light at the end even exists? I know that feeling all too well. Life has a way of bringing us into seasons of silence, isolation, and confusion. You begin to wonder if you'll ever see the light again, if the darkness will ever end. But here's the truth. You're not the only one who's felt this way. Even I was led into a wilderness, not as punishment, but as preparation. And I'm telling you today, the wilderness is not a place of defeat. It's a place where God shapes and strengthens his people. It's the place where the distractions are removed, where we can hear his voice clearer than ever before. The wilderness is a common theme throughout Scripture. Moses had his wilderness. Elijah had his. Jesus himself had his, and yes, I had mine. 40 days of silence with no food, no comfort, no crowd. It felt like being stuck in a toxic bunker, completely cut off from the world and everything familiar. But let me tell you something. In that silence, in that isolation, the Father spoke. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I learned that sometimes God takes us to places that feel dark and deserted, not to punish us, but to prepare us for something greater. We see this time and time again in Scripture. Think about Moses. He spent 40 years in the wilderness, 40 years of tending sheep, far away from the life he once knew. But that wilderness became the place where he encountered God in the burning bush, where he received the call that would change the course of his life. His wilderness wasn't a wasted time. It was the place where God forged him into the leader he would use to set his people free. Then there's Elijah, who spent time in the wilderness, alone and running from threats. He was hungry, desperate, and discouraged. But God used that wilderness to speak to him in a still, small voice. It was in the silence that Elijah heard God's plan, a plan he never would have received if he'd stayed in the chaos and noise of his life. And then there's Jesus. Before he started his public ministry, before he performed miracles and healed the sick, he was led into the wilderness. Jesus didn't come out of the wilderness weakened. He came out with power. The wilderness was the place of testing, but it was also the place of victory. Jesus overcame the enemy in those 40 days, and he returned from the wilderness stronger than ever, ready to fulfill his calling. I can tell you from experience that the wilderness isn't about defeat. It's about refinement. It's about the stripping away of everything that holds you back, everything that distracts you, everything that isn't of God. And that process, God shapes your character, strengthens your spirit, and prepares you for the calling he has on your life.